Welcome back to another episode of the Fruitful 3 show. We are doing part 3 of the independent underground music series.
Hopefully the last episode.
It should be.
If you guys are getting bored of this.
Levi did not add any notes this week, so it should be easy to get through this.
The only notes I have is a Grammy rant that I'm going to go off on.
Yes. And we're joined by Christopher again. So,
yo, buddy.
Let's go. Got Levi. Got I don't know what else to say.
I just want to say, last week you had asked your listeners to get over 100 views.
Yeah.
And it happened.
I can't ask him for 1,000 likes or 1,000 subscribers, but you know what? I can ask him for 100 views and I'll get it.
Because I think the video is now sitting at like 135 views, which is really good.
Let's go.
Yeah. So speaking of you can't get subscribers, I'm going to throw this idea out here and you can throw me off my chair if you want me to. But I was thinking if we got 50 subscribers, we will continue to do series. If we get 100 subscribers, we will make sure we have a guest on every single episode next year.
Yeah.
So
we're only 6 away from 50, and that means 56 away from 100. So
yeah,
come on, guys, let's get it.
I figured I'd throw that out there. And like I said, you could throw me off this chair if you really wanted to. I'll take it.
I'm gonna be nice. Yeah.
Yes, I still got my throne.
Anyway, we have merch. So I'm gonna do merch a little differently. Levi is gonna do like the main one, but as you can see, I am wearing my iced hoodie.
That looks nice.
Thank you. Okay. If you go to the store with what's going on in the world today with a whole ICE riots and protests and whatnot, you can go and officially get your iced merch because, you know, you've been iced and you can't get iced again. You know what I'm saying? And I got a hat too somewhere. There it is. Yeah. Got iced. I got a beanie on there too, you know? You can go get iced out for your ice riots, dog.
Please tell me the hat got thrown in on the... You caught a clip of that getting thrown in there.
No, it was off screen.
Damn.
You want me to get it on there? That was right above the camera.
that was horrible.
All right, anyway.
We're having epic fails over here.
Yes. Anyway, Levi has his little ordeal. Okay.
So, merch is about a month ago, Isaiah here felt called to do something real for people experiencing homelessness, to make sure no one has to face the world without clothes on their back. As an artist himself, through Ice Entertainment, he made a commitment. Every dollar he earned from his music, available at iceentertainment.com or .net, goes directly toward buying clothes from our merchandise store to give to those in need. Now, this is where I step in, and for every piece of Good Samaritan Mechanics merchandise sold, I will personally donate our profits to the local VFW, supporting the veterans who sacrificed so much for our communities. And while we're building more designs, because there's not very much Good Samaritan designs on here right now, so any purchase from the Fruitful 3 Show podcast merch will also go toward helping those in need. If you're not into merch, you can still make a direct impact. Donations can be sent to my Cash App, which is $ Levi Kelowitz 21, and every dollar raised will be split evenly between the two of us to help clothe the homeless and support local veterans. This isn't just about clothes. It's about dignity, warmth, and reminding people they matter. Together, we can help the homeless stay warm and confident, support veterans right here in our communities, Turn music, creativity, and hard work into real change. Support the music mission at iceentertainment.net. Grab merch or donate to make a direct impact. Let's make this dream a reality. Let's put clothes on every back and hope in every heart. Thank you for believing in something bigger than ourselves.
If you wanna know how this whole project's going, I have a box. The first shipment that I sent out got declined. It was my fault because I like doing surprises and surprising people. So anyway, I had sent that out. It got sent back. It got declined. I sent it to People City Mission, People City Mission, right?
Yeah, People City Mission in Lincoln.
Yeah, I sent that to them and they declined it. They sent it back to the company, and then I took over it. I had the chance to take it, and I did. Otherwise, it's gonna get destroyed. Anyway, I've just been giving them away at this point, so it was my fault because I didn't email them and ask for permission or consent. I just surprised them with it, and they probably said, yeah, screw this guy. So it happens. Life goes on. And I'll make sure that next time I actually talk to someone before doing something like that. So anyway, that's it for merch. Christopher, how's college? How's life? How's the fitness journey going?
Yeah, before I get into the fitness journey stuff, I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch Daytona 500 on Wednesday night. No? Okay. Um, I watched like a little bit of it. I couldn't watch the whole thing because I was like dead tired. But I definitely want to try to watch like more NASCAR events because I have watched more NASCAR like a couple of years ago. Um, Definitely want to try to watch Talladega whenever that is. So that has my interest. So my fitness journey, right? So I weighed myself today. I'm like 220 right now. So getting
He dropped
close.
3, buddy.
So I'm getting close to like 219 and so on and so on. So today I went to the gym. I did 3 cardio exercise things today. Treadmill for an hour, Arctic trainer for an hour, and then the bike for an hour. So yeah, keep doing that. And then tomorrow I'm going to the Barclays Center to watch my very first basketball game in person. Excited about that. The Brooklyn Nets are going to be playing the Washington Wizards tomorrow. Two shitty teams, but it is what it is. So looking forward to that. And yeah, so I'm working with a personal trainer at my college 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday. And this past Wednesday, he pushed me to like my absolute limit, you know, this past Wednesday, which is much needed. So he'll definitely help me get like in the best shape of my life for sure. Plus what I'm doing, on my own. So look forward to Monday because he told me that Monday the real work begins. So I look forward to that. And yeah. And I know Levi said he won't talk about the Grammy, so we'll talk about that later. I definitely have some thoughts about that as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna like the way I go.
You never know. You never know. Christopher can surprise you. Do we want to just start off with the Grammy rant before we get into the?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because
so recently, since we're talking about artists and everything, most recently the Grammys happened obviously last Sunday night, and to me that was the biggest political bullshit you could ever witness in my entire life. First of all, I don't really watch the Grammys. I mean, I used to when I was younger because I thought I was kind of like big in some of the artists, and then after kind of like the political route they started going, I kind of stopped watching them. Also, I do gotta give a huge giant shout out to Jelly Roll because while everybody was out there making a political scene and talking about ICE and getting standing ovations, which fuck you guys for that, because Jelly Roll had the best speech of them all. And if you actually watch Jelly Roll, he says a prayer before he even like starts his speech. Like, he knows he's going to get booed off that stage. He knows he's going to get kicked off that stage. He says, like, Lord, give me enough time to get this speech before I get kicked off, which luckily he never did. But it's crazy that he went up there, said his prayer right in front of the mic, and they went into talking about how God changed his life, how he was stuck in prison, and he talked about that Jesus is for everyone and Jesus is a savior. And what's really, really sad, and this is the part where I call it the biggest political bullshit you can find, is no one fucking gave him a standing ovation. The minute ICE was brought up, everyone stood up out of their chairs, clapped, cheered, everything. Fuck you, Reba McEntire, because she was shown sitting in her chair, clapping and hollering, why the fuck did you not stand up? That's what I want to know. The only person who really supported him was obviously his wife, Bunny. She obviously, I mean, but what do you expect? I mean, that to me is expected, because that's his significant other. That's his wife. That's she's supposed to be by his side 24/7. So besides Bunny standing up and applauding and all the stuff she did, nobody else did. So yeah, way to go, way to show how America is screwed up. And I just, like I said, to me that was the biggest disgrace you could possibly do. Like, why would you stand up and why would you give a standing ovation to a political thing, but when somebody talks and gives you their own true testament of their life on stage, you don't fucking give him a standing ovation? That's my rant. Fuck you, Grammys.
You can fuck the Grammys all you want, but the CEO is pretty much on the Christian side. So yeah.
By the way, so speaking of the Grammys and everything, you realize who showed up and got kicked out of the Grammys because he did not have like a... Okay, so I'm not trying to get political here, right? But it's a little political and it's a little irony, because everyone's talking about like ICE and everything else. And ICE is a law enforcement that's supposed to like take illegal immigrants and deport them back to their original thing, right? Have you noticed the security and how hard it is to get into Grammys? Kanye West and his girlfriend or wife or whatever, I can't think of her name at this time, but Kanye West showed up and they kicked him out because he did not have like the VIP invite. Like, so you're going to kick Kanye out, but yet you're going to throw this whole political standing ovation crap there. But like, that to me is just irony.
Yeah.
Just saying. Fuck the Grammys.
Christopher, what's your view on this?
Yeah, so I'm gonna stay away from the political aspect of it because I'm not into politics. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But as far as the
I said you learned from your lessons.
oh hell yeah. So I'm staying
Like
away
I said,
from that.
I don't care that it got political. It's the fact that somebody gave the testimony of his life, and not one... Well, okay, I can't say not one person stood up and cheered for him, because obviously his wife. But that's the part that I hate the most. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, so as far as that the performances, Justin Bieber, he came out in his like underwear and like socks. I don't know if you guys saw that. I thought that was, pretty cool. Bruno Mars performed his new song, which was really good. Lady Gaga performed. Sabrina Carpenter, very talented. She's very beautiful. She's just very, attractive, like overall. Um, so yeah, I enjoyed the Grammys for the performances, and yeah, I was happy that Lady Gaga won. I think she won like 2 awards. So yeah, I'm happy for her, and yeah, that's it.
Post Malone had a pretty good cover of Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, granted, Slash did help him out, so you had one of the best guitarists in the world helping you. But I gotta give Post Malone credit for his cover of Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train.
Mm.
Actually, no, wasn't it? No, I think it was War Pigs is what he did.
I don't know. I didn't listen to it.
I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really watch the Grammys, and I don't watch it just because it's to me it's gotten too political, and I don't like it that way. But like the highlights that I've seen of it, I had to go. Unfortunately, the highlights I've seen this year is I had to go off on a rant because you get obviously when Jesus Christ and your faith, and I mean when somebody talks about the darkest moment of his life on TV and how he got out of that hole, everybody should cheer for that and clap for that and not the political nonsense that's going on in this world. Just my personal beliefs.
All right, let's get into what we want to get into.
So this is the final chapter, and what we did is we broke down.
We basically had underground music, independent artists, and now it's independent artists by each genre.
Yeah. So we broke it down into the top main genres, and then I broke it down into the top 5 most recognized artists of that genre.
Now the first one, Christopher told me yesterday that he's been jamming to him. It is no other, because the first genre is hip hop, rap, and R&B, and it's no other than the Midwest King Tech Nine.
Midwest
Tech Nine.
Tech Nine.
Yep.
So,
sorry, had to.
So Tech Nine, or Mr. Yates, co-founded Strange Music in 1999 with Travis O'Guin.
Yeah, O'Guin.
Yeah, Guin.
Oh, by the way, Isaiah in his blog corrected me last week. I said 1977 of People Are Strange by the Doors. It was actually 1967. Thanks for the correction there, buddy.
You're welcome. Building it into one of the most successful independent labels in hip-hop history, from early albums like Angela and Helic to a steady stream of releases at the Collabos series. He sold millions of albums and created a massive global fan base, the Technicians, without a major label backing.
The cool part about the whole Collabo series is he throws on his own artists that are signed to Strange Music. The other thing really cool, one thing Tech does differently with a lot of his artists that are signed under him is, if you ever listen to like the Strangulation albums, what he does is he sends like his best beats that he's recorded songs on to his artists and have them write their own lyrics for it and write their own songs and go into the recording studios with those lyrics and everything else, which I think is really, really cool, because you don't get a lot of like mainstream guys that are like willing to hand over their most iconic beats to somebody else and say, hey, drop your lyrics on this and see what you can do to try to make it better. Like, you don't see that. So that's one thing I gotta love about Tech.
So Tech rejected the traditional label path to keep creative control, ownership, and freedom over his music and business decisions. He hustled through relentless touring, grassroots marketing, and merchandise sales rather than relying on radio or corporate support. His intense live shows, unique rapid-fire delivery, a prolific catalog, strategic collaborations, and a direct relationship with fans helped him outsell many mainstream peers, proving any artist could compete on a global level.
One of his friends actually gave him the name Tech Nine, and we were talking about how his like fast rapid delivery, it actually, his name came after a gun, obviously. And obviously, as his buddies Tech could spray a bunch of rounds, Tech could spray a bunch of rounds lyrically. And that is how, so they just started naming him Tech Nine of how fast he could rap in his hood. And so that's how he got his name. If a lot of you guys, I mean, if you guys don't know that, there's your little history lesson.
Hey, anything you'd like to add to Tech, Chris?
Oh man. Straight Out the Gate by Tech Nine. That's a song that I heard when I was a kid growing up on different sports video games. And now all these years later, I finally know, who was rapping that song. So it was pretty cool. And then Tech Nine has a song with Lil Wayne called Yoda, pretty cool song. And then of course, years later, years ago, he did a song with Eminem. They both killed it. So yeah, been listening to Tech Nine as of late, during my workouts. So yeah, pretty cool.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Second on the list, we have Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper broke out in the early 2010s by giving his music away for free and embracing digital platforms instead of signing to a record label. His third mixtape, Coloring Book, became the first streaming only album to chart and to win a Grammy, including Best Rap Album. Chance chose to remain unsigned to maintain creative freedom, control his career path, and stay directly connected with his fans, rejecting major label offers because he valued more or autonomy more than traditional deals. By using free releases to maximize accessibility, building buzz through social media and performances, and blending hip hop with gospel and community activism, he cultivated a devoted audience that propelled him into mainstream recognition and historic Grammy wins.
So I still don't know how Tech hasn't won a Grammy yet. Like, I mean, Tech, in my opinion, Tech's way better than Chance the Rapper. And it's just like I said, it's crazy how Chance the Rapper, who's also independent, gets a Grammy and
yeah, I mean,
Tech doesn't.
Ever since he released that album Coloring Books, you haven't really seen or heard much of Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, the only way I really knew Chance the Rapper was from gosh dang it, what's the TV show now with Mariah Carey's ex?
Oh, Wild and Out.
Yeah, that's about where I first figured out who Chance the Rapper really was.
Chris?
Yeah. I had no idea Chance the Rapper was an independent artist. I just thought he was always signed to a record label.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know how much research you did, but I thought he signed to Kanye and for like one album, and then he was released again. So I don't know for sure. That's what I always thought, but maybe it changed. I don't know. Third on the list, one of my favorites, Nipsey Hussle, baby. Nipsey Hussle came up in Los Angeles pushing mixtapes and building a grassroots following. His Crenshaw mixtape famously sold 1,000 copies at $100 each, with Jay-Z buying 100 copies, a bold experiment in valuing music as art and ownership. After leaving Epic Records when label delays stalled his career, Nipsey launched his own label and embraced a model to direct fan relationship and self-ownership, cutting out the middleman to capture more value from his work. Nipsey's unique marketing strategies limited high-value releases, free online distribution, relentless touring, and community engagement built a fiercely loyal fan base and respect industry-wide. His blend of entrepreneurship and activism made him a cultural figure beyond music.
Okay, so I probably should have done a little bit. Basically, I went Google searched this, and the top 5 people that was kind of commonly named throughout the list is kind of who I picked, and I should have done a little bit more research on some of these guys, but
because you don't know them, do you?
Not really. Tech was easy, and E40 was easy. That's my generation.
This would be your generation too, man.
I don't really know Nipsey Hussle though.
Well, he got popped in 2018 and no longer with us, so R.I.P. to Nipsey, bro. But yeah, you should listen to his music. He does music with Kendrick. I mean, I'm pretty sure
he's really good friends, I think, with YG.
Yeah,
well, he was.
He did a lot of stuff with YG. I don't know how true it is, but Snoop always called him his nephew. So I don't know if it's actually his nephew.
Everyone's
I know.
Snoop's nephew.
That's why I'm saying I don't know if it's actually his nephew or if he just calls him his nephew.
Snoop is probably so stoned he doesn't even know who his true family is. No offense.
Well, you know, but
I'm taking the John Cena route. I'm calling out these guys to see if they come after me.
Okay.
We're gonna take the John Cena route because John Cena called The Rock out, and The Rock came after John. So
I just think you're blowing too much smoke, and Snoop is gonna smoke you out. Okay,
do it. It gives us popularity, man.
If that's what you want, I guess. Next up on the charts is Russ. Russ began self-releasing music on SoundCloud, dropping a song nearly every week for years until tracks like What They Want and Losing Control broke onto the Billboard Hot 100. He later partnered with a major label in a deal that still allowed his significant control, and as of 2020 is officially independent again. Russ believed in building his audience directly rather than waiting for a corporate label to validate him. By controlling his output, rhythm of releases, and brand, he cultivated a strong connection with fans before bringing in a label partnership to his terms. His constant do-it-yourself releases on SoundCloud turned into organic buzz, streaming numbers, and later chart success, all anchored by his authenticity and prolific output. I've talked enough about Russ for the last... did I talk about Russ last episode?
Yeah, you did.
I did?
I've been on the whole big, heavy tech train, so I mean that's why we kind of blew through tech.
Yeah.
And we kind of blew through Russ because you've been on the Russ train. I've been on the tech train.
Next up, we got E40, which Levi will know.
Yeah. So one thing is, Ted gets a lot of credit for his independency and how he kind of like made the blueprint for it. In all reality, and E40 was the original, like he built the blueprint for independent rappers. And so either I can do it or you can do it.
So E40, Avelio.
Yep.
California legend, has been a major figure in hip hop since the early 1990s, pioneering independent hustle with his label Sick World Records.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. And selling music out of trunks long before digital distribution was a thing. Early in his career, E40 chose independence to maintain control over his business and music direction. His entrepreneurial approach became fundamental for Bay Area rap culture, influenced a generation of artistes through relentless outputs, inventive slang and style, collaborations across generations, and savvy branding beyond music, including beverages and entrepreneurship. E40 sustained relevance and respect for decades. So now we go into something that a little more of what Christopher would know. We go into pop music.
I'm gonna ask Christopher a question on this.
Oh yeah?
As of right now, who is the number one most independent pop artist in the world today?
I mean, that would be Taylor Swift, right? I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
And I threw and when I figured that out, I took that and I scrapped it and I threw it out the window because I was like, my whole idea was I want somebody who actually like built it from ground zero, and like she had a bunch of record labels back then and didn't like them and chose it.
Hey, first on our list we have Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez made waves by experimenting with blockchain technology, releasing his album When It's Dark as an NFT collection where fans bought 1 million copies at $1 each, reportedly selling out in under a minute, generating significant direct revenue and challenging traditional streaming economics. So 1 million copies at $1 each. He made $1 million in under a minute. Just think about that for a second, guys. Just think about that for a second.
That's true hustle.
Amid frustrations with traditional music distribution and label control, Lanez embraced NFTs to bypass intermediaries and sell directly to fans, claiming greater control over how his music is monetized and experienced. Lanez built his early career with hit singles, mixtapes, and crossover R&B hip-hop tracks that charted on Billboard, later using his tech ventures to stir conversions and engagement with the crypto music community.
The second one, so Chris was, or do you have something to say about?
I don't have nothing to say about Tory.
Chris, you got something about Tory?
Yeah, I mean, I used to listen to his music when I was a kid growing up. Did plenty of songs with Meek Mill and other rappers. He's a good rapper. He did a song with Jack Harlow a couple of years ago. Was poppin'. Like he had like a great verse on that song. So yeah, good artist.
So the second one, as I was starting to say, is you guys were asking about him last week, and it's no other than good old Macklemore.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, what happened to Macklemore?
Good old Thrift Shop.
No, Macklemore, with producer Ryan Lewis, released The Heist independently through their own label, Macklemore LLC. Despite minimal traditional promotional support, the album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard and featured massive hits like Thrift Shop and Can't Hold Us. It also won multiple Grammy Awards, including Best Rap Album, which is controversy because they thought Kendrick Lamar should have won that, and I don't blame him for it. Macklemore and Ryan Lewis chose independence to retain creative control and ownership of their music, opting to self-release and only later working with Warner Music Group for selective radio promotion. Viral singles, grassroots touring, savvy use of digital distribution, and compelling visuals helped them break into mainstream consciousness. Proven an indie act could compete with major label artists in the charts and award stages. A couple, probably 2018, I think, 2017, there's a lawsuit, and Ryan and Macklemore split their ways. And ever since then, Macklemore's kind of been on the down low. So, I mean, he still releases music sometimes.
I was going to say the next one everybody should know.
Yes, the next one, he is known for being a symbol. It is no other than the Prince. Prince was one of the most vocal advocates for artists controlling their own music. His long battle with Warner Bros. In the 1990s over creative control and ownership became legendary. He even changed his name to a symbol and publicly protested contracts he felt equated to slavery. Tired of restrictive deals and lack of ownership, Prince spent years securing control of his masters and creative output, pioneering ways for artists to dictate their own careers. From the groundbreaking success of Purple Rain in 1999 to his prolific songwriting and genre-bending sound, Prince combined artistic genius with courageous business decisions, inspiring generations of artists to fight for control over their work. So you have anything to add to the last two artists?
Prince and what was the other one?
Macklemore.
Yeah, Macklemore. I only know one song by his. I don't remember the name of the song, but
Thrift
it was
Shop,
pretty
probably.
popular.
Yeah, Thrift Shop or Can't Hold Us.
Oh yeah. So yeah, a really good song. Prince. I have nothing to add when it comes to Prince.
You don't listen to Prince, dog?
Nah.
What?
Nah.
What?
Sorry.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That's all right. Next up on the list, we have
Billie Eilish, who's currently getting a lot of the heat right now.
A lot of backlash for what she said on the
she's currently getting
Grammys.
sued.
Yeah.
Did you hear how she responded to that?
I could build you a house on the land, and that sounds a lot like slavery.
No. She responded with, I bought this house and I bought this property, so it's mine. I don't know why I'm getting sued.
Well, yeah, the original, whoever owned it before her, originally owned and then sold it to Billie Eilish, but it was still stolen land. So if she's claiming that the United States is stolen land, well, then her land is also stolen. So
I just had a laugh of how she couldn't figure out how it, like, I bought this. Well, didn't our ancestors buy this country with their blood, sweat, and tears? Or that was my first
But that's just more political BS for you to have with the Epstein files.
Fair enough.
Billie Eilish began making music with her brother Phineas as their home studio, releasing early songs like Ocean Eyes on SoundCloud and building buzz before major label involvement. Eilish's early success was rooted in a do-it-yourself ethnic writing, recording, and crafting her image with Phineas along before major industry backing, showing that artists can gain traction and influence while retaining artistic identity. Ocean Eyes became a viral hit online, leading to label interest, but her authentic voice, relatable persona, and genre blurring songs helped her rapidly expand from the indie sensation to mainstream pop superstar, winning multiple Grammys and breaking streaming records. Anything you'd like to add to Billie Eilish?
Yeah, I'm a fan of her music. I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard her music, I didn't like understand like her sound.
Yeah.
But over time, I just was like, wow, like she's really talented artist. Like her voice is really nice. Her new album is really good. She has this song called Birds of a Feather. It's really good song. And talented artist, man. I could see why she wins like so many awards. And yeah.
The Buzzcocks were English punk band who helped lay the foundation for indie rock's do-it-yourself ethos. In early 1977, with no label support, they borrowed money to record and release their Spiral Scratch EP on their own new Hormones label, becoming the first punk rock to self-publish a record. The release sold thousands of copies via mail order and through independent shops, inspiring countless others to start their own labels and release music themselves. Their actions helped define independence as both a creative and business choice in British punk and indie rock. They didn't wait for major label. They literally showed other brands to make and distribute records on your own, making independence a core part of their identity. The raw sound, energetic shows, and influence on the do-it-yourself network built a powerful underground following and helped catalyze the indie rock movement.
And the next one is Radiohead.
Did you do your homework, Christopher? Yeah, he's still laughing. He ain't done nothing with it. Radiohead, already established as a major band, shook the music world in 2007 with In Rainbows by self-releasing the album through their own imprint and offering it online with a pay-what-you-want pricing model. This bold digital experiment gave fans control over how much to pay and allowed the band to sidestep the usual big label release system. After years of major label system, Radiohead sought full control over their music and distribution, using the internet to directly reach the fans. Already huge from earlier records, this innovative release garnered massive media attention to fans' support worldwide, showing that top-tier artists could successfully challenge music industry norms. That is now a huge part of what independent artists do now, is having a pay-what-you-want model.
I'm doing the next one.
Okay, there you go.
Because good old White Stripes. By the way, before I get into White Stripes, if you ever want to hear Jack White completely destroy it and, like, I don't know how to, like, completely bomb lyrically, but yet have like some of the best guitar riffs you'll ever hear in your entire life, go watch his cover of Jolene. Or listen, like, lyrically, it is by far like the worst cover you could possibly get. Guitar riffs wise, it's up there. So, with that being said, obviously, as I mentioned, Jack White, the Detroit duo, Jack and his ex-wife now, Meg White, who played the drums, built their reputation on a strict DIY ethic and minimalist garage rock sound that stood in stark contrast to overproduced mainstream rock. They often recorded with analog equipment, embraced simple visuals, a strict red, white, black aesthetic, and put all their energy into raw performance and creativity. Their approach was rooted in rawness, simplicity, and authenticity. They weren't interested in, was that flirting?
Fitting
the polished popular rock mold. This distinct style, combined with standout singles like Seven Nation Army. Unique videos and intense live shows helped them break through mainstream rock, radio, and TV and become one of the most celebrated acts of the early 2000s. Also, Icky Thump is another big, huge one from them. But yeah, no, if you want to hear some like Jack and Meg White, what they did was phenomenal to me because they were a married couple at the time when this whole afterwards they got divorced and then Jack White still continued his music career. But she did all the drum stuff for him. He did all the guitar stuff. He did the vocals. And just the fact that those two could work together as a two people band and make it work is phenomenal. If you want to hear some of the best guitar licks you've ever heard in your entire life, go listen to it because Jack White is probably one of the best guitarists you'll ever find in the world.
Moving on to Arctic Monkeys. Arctic Monkeys built their early success in the mid-2000s by using the internet and fan-shared demos, especially on platforms like MySpace.
Yeah, buddy.
Spread their music long before their first album dropped. Fans shared their tracks and gained them a huge grassroots fan base across the UK and beyond, leading to their independent rise even before major label involvement. They demonstrated an early understanding of internet-powered community and word-of-mouth promotion, showing that artists could achieve momentum with traditional corporate gatekeepers. Their debut, Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, became one of the fastest-selling debut albums in UK history, fueled by pre-release buzz, packed live shows, and the internet spreads of their music. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next up.
So we can go through for time. If you want to go through pick out certain artists, you can.
That's what I've been doing.
So I would do. I would do Tyler Childress or Tyler Childress. Probably Culture Wall and who was I forget who was the last one.
We'll find out.
Okay.
Does anyone know who Zach Top is? No? Chris? No? Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I never actually heard of that name until when they did
this. Well then we're gonna go to Tyler.
As I said, Tyler Childress.
He's a Kentucky-born singer-songwriter who blends the Appalachian. There you go. Country, folk, and bluegrass. Has won wide acclaim. Although he has worked with labels and RCA for distribution while keeping strong creative control through his Hickman Holler Records. Childers constantly prioritize artistic autonomy. There we go. And authentic storytelling over corporate radio conformity. His ground breakthrough came with 2017's Purgatory, produced by Sturgill Simpson, building a momentum through honest lyrics and relentless touring. He now plays arenas, festival headliners, and even sold out international shows, all largely on his own terms. By step-siding Nashville's usual path and cultivating deep fan loyalty through meaningful songwriting and grassroots touring, Childers became one of the country's music's most compelling independent artists. You know who Tyler is?
Tyler, the creator?
No, Tyler Childers.
No,
he does country.
You need to go I haven't listened to Tyler Childers in quite a while, but I used to listen to a lot of his stuff back in I don't know, probably before he was even popular. Because I remember listening to him probably in college type stuff before he is.
Next up, we have Coulter Wall, a Canadian singer-songwriter with a deep baritone and cowboy-inspired country folk sound that feels timeless. While Coulter has worked with distribution partners and labels like 30 Tigers, his career has largely been driven by his authentic aesthetic, rugged narratives, acoustic arrangements, and a commitment to story-first, corporate polish second. After quitting college to focus on music, Wall released his imaginary
Appalachia EP.
Yeah, there we go. And followed with albums like Western Swing and Waltz that built a loyal audience through streaming, touring, and word of mouth. His modern cowboy persona and reverence for classic country and folk traditions attracted listeners tired of mainstream pop-leaning country. We mentioned his name early on the list is Sturgill Simpson, a Kentucky standout whose blend of outlaw, progressive, and Americana country has largely been influential. Simpson's early albums, High Top Mountain and Meta Modern Sounds and Country Music, were independently released, establishing his voice outside Nashville's mainstream machine. Even after major label releases, he returned to his indie modes for full creative control. His critically acclaimed albums, genre blurring styles, and powerful live shows drew attention from fans and critics alike, winning a Grammy for Best Country Album and refusing typical industry expectations solidified his reputation. Next up, we have Cody Jinks,
which hopefully everybody knows who that is. He gets played
I
on
heard
radio
of him. I heard of him. Never listened to his music.
He's a Texan singer-songwriter rooted in outlaw and neo-traditional country, emerging from the underground to major success. Jinks has long released music through his own imprint, Late August Records, staying true to roots and allowing direct connection with fans rather than chasing mainstream radio formulas. His 2016 album, I'm Not the Devil, reached number 4 on the Billboard Country Album charts, and several subsequent releases hit the top 2, all while he maintained do-it-yourself touring, merchandising, and fan-first marketing.
So the Latin stuff, I had really no clue who half these artists were, to be honest with you. But Latin was...
And I know that you don't listen to Latin music, do you?
No.
Don't secretly get down with the tango? No?
No.
Cool. Okay. We'll skip this one. If you guys have any questions, comment below and we'll...
Yeah.
Or Isaiah's probably going to make a blog on this. And so if you want to read up on this section, you sure can.
Yeah.
Dance and electronic.
Yes, I am going to do it. Because I listen to a lot of EDM music.
Okay.
We have Dead Mouse 5, or other people know him as Dead Mouse.
You okay?
Joel Zimmerman, known as Dead Mouse 5, is a Canadian electronic music producer and DJ whose work spans progressive house, techno, and electro. He's known both for his distinctive production, Mal 5 head performance persona. In 2007, Zimmerman founded his own label, Mal 5 Trap, as a platform to release his music and the work of like-minded artists. Over time, Mal 5 Trap evolved into a fully independent label, managing his own publishing and rights, allowing Dead Mouse 5 and collaborators to release music without a conventional corporate constraints. Dead Mouse 5 first gained global attention with an album titled 2008, with tracks like Faxing Berlin and collaborations such as I Remember. His high-profile live shows, signature aesthetic, and critical acclaim boosted his independent profile. Through Mal 5 Trap, he also helped elevate other artists and maintained a strong position in electronic music for over a decade. He still somewhat releases music, but he mainly teaches music now, and it's kind of interesting because I'll watch some of his clips and everything on how he can just take a typical sound and just expand on it, you know? It's crazy to me how he's able to just take a typical sound and sound design it into a hardcore EDM banger, you know what I'm saying? Next up on the list, we have Skrillex.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He's done some stuff with like Korn and Disturbed and some of those rock bands.
You want more of a heavy EDM artiste? Skrillex is your guy. He's a music producer and DJ credited with popularizing modern dubstep and bass music through innovative production and high-impact releases. In 2011, Skrillex co-founded the independent label AWSLA with collaborators and industry friends to create an artiste-driven collective that provided resources and exposure for pushing electronic producers at a time when many struggled to find supportive label situations. OWSLA became known for releasing seminal tracks and launches by emerging and established artists alike, including Porter Robinson and Zed, helping define the sound in early 2000s EDM dubstep scene. Skrillex' own high-profile music festival presence and willingness to companion other expanded on his influence far beyond mainstream. This is another guy that is crazy with sound design. He can take literally any object he finds in his room and he will just hit it and play with it and take whatever noise it makes, and he can create a whole beat around all this sound that he's making, and he can disguise it and make it as a snare or a kick or a synth or whatever else he needs to do.
He reminds me a lot of like the Blue Man Group, because like if you've ever seen one of the Blue Man Group in action, it's crazy of some of the stuff they use to make sound come out of there, and he is very, very similar to what those guys do to create sound.
Next up, we have Rez, which is Isabel Rezazada, is a Ukrainian-Canadian DJ and producer known for her hypnic mid-tempo electronic sound and immersive visual identity. Her music is just crazy, dog. Rez began releasing music on platforms like SoundCloud and niche labels before signing with Mal 5 Trap, where she maintained creative autonomy over her evolving sound. She later launched her own label, Hypnovision Records, further asserting control over her artistic output. Her early releases on OWSLA sub-labels and Mal 5 Trap earned critical praise and festival bookings, while her debut and follow-up albums, Mass Manipulation and Certain Kind of Magic, help her stand out in EDM with a unique sonic identity. She's also won awards and collaborated widely, cementing her independent credibility in electronic music. Anybody have any notes they'd like to add to EDM?
No. Basically, the only one I really knew out of that whole thing was Skrillex. Does anybody listen to Afrobeats?
Sometimes, but I'm going to skip that.
Oh, we're going to skip K-pop.
Yeah, even though that's a popular
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Well, I was going to say popular music.
World music.
So last week we talked about Upchurch, but he's underworld music. He built a lane by fusing country rock and rap into a sound that reflects rural life, rebellion, and blue-collar grit. He doesn't fit neatly into Nashville or hip-hop, and that's the point. The mainstream industry had no idea where to place him, and Upchurch had no interest in being cleaned up or rebranded. Independence allowed him to speak freely, swear freely, and live loudly without compromise. YouTube raw authenticity and relentless output. His fans don't just stream his music, they identify with it. That's loyalty turned him into one of the most commercially successful independent artists in America, selling huge numbers without radio or label backing.
Okay, so one crazy thing about Upchurch that a lot of people don't realize is he actually grew up like 18 miles south of Nashville. So he grew up, and don't quote me on the actually being south. I think it's south, but you can correct me later in the comments. But he grew up 18 miles away from Nashville, and he saw everybody go in there. And last week we were talking about how like country music back in the day is not true country music today and stuff. So if you go, and he has a song, I can't think of what's called. It's like Outlaw, like We Need Another Outlaw or something, with Luke Combs, and he actually explains in there of how country music has actually changed in today's world. And so if you guys want an idea of what that is, go look it up. The next one,
that's all yours.
The next one is Tom MacDonald. So I'll go on a little rant afterwards, but Tom MacDonald is a Canadian rapper who turned political and cultural commentary into his brand, positioning himself as an outsider, challenging media industry and social narratives. Independence wasn't optional, it was strategic. His content is intentionally provocative, often at odds with mainstream gatekeepers. Owning everything ensures no censorship, no dilution, and full control over message and monetization. Viral marketing, controversy, and algorithm mastery. Every release feels like an event, whether people love him or hate him. They engage, and that engagement fuels chart topping independent releases and sold out shows without industry support. Okay, so with it, like a lot of people hate him because he is not afraid to say, he's not afraid to attack the government. He's not afraid to do things. He's also, if you listen to his stuff, he pretty much says everything that America is thinking, but not willing to actually say, right? He questions everything. And recently, Tom McDonald was actually named the biggest or the most hated rapper because of it. And he just likes controversy. Also, you might not know this, but he has actually dropped a few disses on Eminem because he's noticed that Eminem has changed how he does things. Like Eminem used to be one way and now he's starting to be hypocritical of himself. And so he's dropped a few disses. And basically, at one time, Eminem was asked why he doesn't go after Tom McDonald. And basically, he says he's just a YouTube rapper and not a mainstream guy. So Eminem's not going to give him the time of day. But at the same time, I believe Eminem has never backed down from a rap battle before that I've known of. So I think M's actually a little scared of Tom McDonald. So I'm calling M out because you've never been scared in your life, and Tom McDonald has dissed you, and you're just like, oh, he's just some YouTube rapper. I don't care about him. No, there's more to a story than that. But yeah, and then the other thing is Tom McDonald would not be as big as what he is today if it was not for the help of his girlfriend for the last 10 years of Nova Rockefeller. She actually helped him produce his music videos, and that is actually what made him and that's what made him get popular, as people were intrigued into his music videos and his lyrics. Moving on, because we have Chris Webby and...
Yes. Chris Webby is a Connecticut rapper known for sharp lyricism, pop culture references, and a massive catalog of independent mixtapes. Webby chose longevity over hype. Staying independent meant releasing music constantly, experimenting freely, and avoiding label delays that would slow down his momentum. Relentless consistency year after year of free releases built trust with fans. While others chased singles, Webby stacked bodies of work, creating one of the strongest underground fan bases in modern hip-hop. I know. I sent a song to Christopher because he did a song with the rapper Mills, which Christopher likes the rapper Mills a little bit. And yeah, so yeah, have anything on Chris Webby, or that's the only song you listen of him?
It's the only song.
Happens, bro.
Do you, just out of curiosity, do you know who Dax is?
No.
Man, why is it we know all these guys? Oh wait, we follow this stuff.
We pay attention to the underground music, dog.
That's where it's. I hate to say it, but the underground music has better music than radio hits in my mind.
Dax, one of my used to be favorite rappers, as I don't know, I haven't really listened to him much in the later years, is a Canadian rapper centered on lyrical storytelling, mental health, faith, struggle, and motivation, often delivered with emotional intensity. If you want to learn about like men's mental health and stuff, listen to Dax, bro. That's all I gotta say.
He also has a badass Grinch song.
Yeah, he puts a lot of perspective of what men are going through and how the world is destroying men and everything else. His content thrives online, not on radio. Independence lets him release music quickly, respond to real-world conversations, and maintain full ownership of viral moments. YouTube and social platforms, his videos regularly rack up millions of views because they hit emotionally and visually. Dax understands that in modern era, impact beats playlist placement. And then we have Vin J, which I know you will not have a clue who Vin J is. He represents the raw technical underground, focus on bars, breath control, and pure skill rather than image. Okay. And rather than image or trends, the mainstream rarely rewards technical mastery alone. Independent lets Vin J stay rooted in craftsmanship without chasing gimmicks or viral theatrics. Cyphers is how he's gained respect. Live performances and word of mouth credibility. His fan base grows from people who care deeply with lyricism and authenticity, the kind of listeners who stick around long term. His lyrics is kind of insane, and I wonder how he actually does half of the rhymes he does. So yeah. And then finally, last but not least, we have Christian/gospel. First up, we have Lecrae. He's a Christian rapper and entrepreneur who co-founded Reach Records, blending faith-based lyrics with top-tier hip-hop production. Lecrae wanted creative freedom to explore faith and social issues honestly, without label censorship or commercial compromise. Reach Records gave him that control over artist development, messaging, and distribution. Lecrae built a strong following through underground mixtapes, relentless touring, and authentic storytelling. Albums like Gravity and Anomaly broke into mainstream charts with Grammy wins, proving the independent Christian hip hop could achieve both critical and commercial success. He has faced some backlash because he doesn't want to be known as like a Christian rapper, because he's a rapper that talks about Jesus. He doesn't want to,
because in his mind is the minute you categorize him into that Christian category, you're going to lose certain fan base. What he wants to do is he wants to be known as a rapper who talks about Jesus and everything else, because what he wants to do is he wants to bring the message of Jesus and Christianity to everyone in the world. And so if he gets narrowed into one section, he's only going to meet a group of people. And now if he gets labeled as a rapper and not a Christian rapper, he can expand worldwide and reach millions of people with his message.
I would say the biggest success for him is he showed up on Kendrick Lamar's album last year on one of his songs, because Kendrick and Lecrae are good friends. NF, as I have talked about him this whole time, is known for his raw emotional lyrics, tackling mental health, faith, and personal struggle. Operating under NF Real Music, NF controls every aspect of releases, touring, and branding, and allowing him to connect directly with fans without interference from major labels. His approach leverages YouTube, social media, and streaming platforms, turning deeply personal tracks into viral hits. Albums like The Search and Clouds hit Billboard 200 top spots, demonstrating that independent, faith-driven music can be scaled massively. I'm going to skip Bethel Music and Elevation Worship.
So the cool part, so I'll talk about Elevation Worship here real quick. So so these guys are actually
like a group.
Yeah. So like they're actually sponsored by a church. The worship group from Elevation Church in Charlotte, North Carolina, producing contemporary worship music with broad commercial appeal. Though tied to a church, Elevation Worship functions autonomously, controlling songwriting, recording, and distribution while building their own global brand. Their songs like "Oh Come to the Altar" and "Graves into Gardens" top Billboard charts, while tours and streaming solidifying them as a mainstream force, all while maintaining close creative and spiritual control over their content. One thing I do like about these guys is basically they were like the choir group of a church, and somehow they were able to push from the choir into a world, like having a world backing. And so that was what I thought was cool, is because they're technically not a group, but because they're all supported by their church and they're all backed by their church. But yet it's cool of how they were able to blow up worldwide with having the backing of a church. And I just thought that was pretty cool, so I had to put them in here.
And last and finally on our list, we have Maverick City Music is a worship collective known for diverse collaborative production and blending traditional gospel with contemporary sounds. The group prioritizes artist-driven collaboration and authentic worship experiences, producing and releasing music without relying on major label infrastructure. This allows flexibility and experimentation in worship music. Albums like Maverick City Volume 3 and Jubilee went viral through streaming, social media, and live worship sessions, gaining Billboard chart success and awards while creating a new model for independent collaborative gospel music. That is it. We have finally finished this long, dreadful journey into the abyss.
Hopefully it was very, very educational.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys learned something, and if you guys didn't, then please comment down below of how we can make it better.
I know Christopher has learned some new artists that he has put into his arsenal. So any final thoughts?
So here's a group that Chris needs to put into his arsenal. Underground Avengers. They're a bunch like it's basically like Twista and Jelly Roll and a bunch of guys that were like a lot of no-name guys, and they basically did a whole song on, or like their album itself is centered around like Thanos and the Avengers, and it's pretty dope in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah's heard of them.
Yep. Chris, any final thoughts on your side?
Let me see. No, not really. No.
All right. Let's close out of this, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's get out of here, man. Underground music isn't disappearing, it's winning. Quietly, the rise of indie artists proves one thing: you don't need permission to create. You need conviction, community, and consistency. And most importantly, truth. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who actually listens to music, not just the background noise.
As we have some background noise as of right now.
Yeah.
So give a shout out to my lovely daughter Ivy Rose, even though it's been a struggle, but we always appreciate having her on.
A lot of editing every single time. Just wanted a chill weekend, man. Chill weekend, but no, it happens. Life goes on. Anyway, we're out. Peace, love, happiness, and unity.
Later.